AskReddit by Unland 2. What's a subtle sign someone's actually really wealthy? I got this guy extra sauces at my job and he slipped me a $20. I mean, it's extra sauce, you rid ketchup. How much could it cost? $20. They have really nice things, but don't have the brand names plastered all over the place. One thing I've always heard, and noticed, is that only low-end luxury plasters brand names everywhere. High-end luxury speaks for itself. You might find a small label tag somewhere with the name, but that's about it. They refer to their summer and winter homes by their names. We summer at our villa, gerbils, and winter at our chalet, noodles. They don't flaunt it. I can understand why. Getting robbed isn't fun. Deleted. We've all heard of yes men. They help corporations run. Wealthy people can afford to say no. If your emergency fund is large enough, you too can have fuck you money. I used to date a girl a few years ago who had an aunt and uncle that were friends of the family. Over the summer I was invited to stay a week in their house on the northern coast of Maine. The property was absolutely massive with private beach and all, but easily explained as it had been in the family for generations. I love cooking and was asked to prepare dinner for everyone on the third night of whatever I wanted to make. I was told to make a grocery list of whatever I wanted. Being on the coast and all, I wanted to make some whole cod with some family style sides. I thought they were just being nice and going grocery shopping since I was not familiar at all with the area. The moment I knew these people weren't just well off but wealthy was when the aunt placed a phone call and 3 hours later a seaplane landed at their dock with produce picked that day and then a boat pulled up with the cod I asked for. Lol, I love to cook, but if someone pulled up like that I'd probably fuck up the dinner. My nerves. Frequently traveling. Had a friend of a friend casually ask if I'd be interested in coming along on a month-long truffle hunting trip in France. Oh hey, you like to cook? Maybe you'd like to. Quietly comfortable about money. It's simply not a subject. Who picks up the tab? They don't care. Their minds simply don't go there. And if they somehow feel obliged to, then they simply do. There are no considerations going on in their minds, and with a keen eye you can see this in their attention, their mannerisms, their lack of certain stresses. It's subtle, but clear as day. A long time ago I was with a self-made millionaire who told me that money is like air. When you have enough, you never think about it. When you don't have enough, it's all you think about. A bespoke wardrobe that costs more than our cars. No logos anywhere on their clothes. No logos, no sizes. If there are maker's marks they are probably the size of a pin and only other super wealthy types will know them by sight. Financially comfortable, except with a hobby that functions as the day job. Or they seem to treat their day job more like a hobby. What you're actually seeing is that the bulk of the income is passive. I unknowingly had dinner with a billionaire couple. Afterward I was told about their wealth and I realized their clothes were bespoke. Everything fit like a glove. Their nails were perfectly manicured. The wife was not wearing normal jewelry. They insisted on picking up the bill. They tipped $100 on a $180 receipt. They were both legitimately nice people and I genuinely enjoyed dining with them. How did you end up having dinner with billionaires that you didn't know were billionaires? Honest question. I'm curious about how this situation comes to being. They use summer as a verb. Where in the world would you like to summer this year, my dear? They have a family lawyer. More, they have a family office. I lived with a girl in college who was crazy rich Asian rich. She moved in for the company, otherwise her parents were just gonna buy her a house. She always wore this mini bag style purse when we were going out and it just looked like a small plain black bag to me. I asked to borrow it for a concert one weekend because they had a super strict bag policy that none of my other bags met. She was like, oh sure, no problem. I loved it and ended up looking it up to buy one for myself, and found out it was more than a year's salary. And she let me take it to a music festival without a second thought. Clothes that look nice, fit perfectly, and don't have branding visible. As I sit here and type this wearing a super comfortable hoodie with a gigantic Under Armour logo on the middle of it, I realize I'm poor AF, hahaha. They don't spend money on status symbols, but are completely price insensitive with opportunities and education for their children. They teach their children how to play the game from a very young age. The children of wealthy parents are successful less because of direct inheritance and more because they have been groomed for success their entire lives. Spoiled rich kids who just get money from their parents tend to squander it within a generation or two. Intergenerational wealth takes a lot more effort. My grandfather would say it takes 3 generations to build wealth, and only 1 to lose it. Invest your time and money accordingly. Parking wherever they want. I've met some wealthy people that legitimately consider parking tickets as a fee to park there. If the penalty for a crime is a fine, then that law only exists for the lower class. When they say they are comfortable. My broke cousin tells me all the time how comfortable he is in his sweatpants. Deleted. My wife's family are extremely wealthy and the one thing I'd say across all of them is they never flex wealth. They shop at the same supermarkets, go to the same restaurants, always look out for a bargain and spend money on things that last. Extremely modest. I'd be surprised if anyone ever guessed they were multimillionaires several times over unless you went to their house. They downplay what their dad or grandfather did. You can't casually tell me that someone started a bank in the 80s and me not smell billions. Come on. Stop it. It's not normal. Also common in Germany without being rich. Has all the time in the world. No prior commitments with other people but themselves. Does not work for someone. They know what they want. You'll realize you're the one adapting to their schedule for meetings. They don't work with laptops in a coffee shop, but with their phones always in a call telling someone else what to do. Sometimes, you'll even judge them if they're even competent as a person because they don't work, but once you talk about money with them, you'll really notice their financial intelligence. Just things I noticed with wealthy clients as an architect. I don't know what to do with all of it. Quarterly, on interest alone, I make $40 million. The wealthy, childless couple I installed 8 showers and 24 mirrors in their new mansion. Was at my favorite lunch place in Munich. Guy is sitting there in an old jacket with dirty boots and a scruffy dog drinking coffee. Chat to him a bit, nice guy. After he leaves, the owner of the restaurant tells me he owns the 2 city blocks surrounding the restaurant. The only reason he didn't own the block we were in was because the church owned it and wasn't selling. What is your favorite lunch place in Munich? A lot of unbranded, but high quality clothing in neutral tones. Many years ago I worked as a driver for a gentleman in Greenwich, CT. He was wealthy, millions, but one afternoon, on very short notice he took me on a trip to Florida with the heiress of the Annenberg fortune, billions. We traveled with her and her entourage in her private jet from a private airfield. When staying at her residence I remember meeting her and getting the feeling that she was deeply lonely. I've never sensed it as strongly with anyone else. She was quite nice to me. She spoke directly to me and paid attention to my answers. Something subtle I picked up on was how the people around her were very rehearsed. Nothing natural ever happened. Ultimately, despite her extraordinary wealth, I felt quite sorry for her. Being involved in the arts, museums, or other philanthropy